How long is the perfect time for a nap? What is unexplained nocturnal death syndrome? Can sleep apnea make you grow deaf? Wait, can you actually sleep with your eyes open? In today's list, we'll look at who gets the most, who gets the least, and how to get more, as well as a few other random and interesting truths about the land of I'm Mike with List25, and here are weird facts about sleep that'll keep you up at night. Do you ever feel like you hit a wall around 2 in the afternoon? Blame your circadian rhythm. Your internal clock dips your wakefulness twice daily, with the afternoon slump fueled by a temperature drop, digestion demands, and hormonal fluctuations. While sleepiness is normal, excessive sleepiness could signal sleep deprivation, medical issues, or lifestyle choices. Fight back with movement, sunlight, hydration, smart snacks, or even a power nap. Unlike our furry friends who instinctively doze off whenever drowsiness hits them, we humans hold the unique, and often detrimental, title of being the only mammals who regularly choose to delay sleep. While experts cannot stress sleep's crucial role enough, humans are notorious for hitting the snooze button on evolution, sacrificing shut-eye for, well, just about anything mildly entertaining. Or, making YouTube videos at 12:30 in the morning. It's a fact. Your brain needs dreams to keep your sanity intact. In a recent sleep study, students who were woken up every time they started dreaming, even though they got a full 8 hours, ended up with serious issues like concentration problems, irritability, and even hallucinations after just 3 days. When they finally got their chance to dream undisturbed, their brains made up for lost time by diving deep straight into REM sleep. So, make sure you catch those 8 hours tonight because your brain will thank you. Our dreams aren't just nightly escapades. They might also be crucial in cracking some of life's toughest puzzles. When we're deep in dreamland, our brains get a boost in abstract thinking, pattern recognition, and insight generation that can feel almost magical. In fact, many renowned inventors and artists have shared those aha moments that struck them while dreaming, leading to groundbreaking ideas and creations. But don't hold your breath for science to deliver empirical evidence on a link between the two just yet. A 1995 NASA study found that pilots who napped for exactly 26 minutes experienced a 54% alertness boost and 34% better job performance than non-nappers. What's the magic behind this number? Well, it aligns with our natural sleep cycles, allowing us to cycle through light sleep without entering deeper stages that can lead to the well-known grumpiness upon waking. Are you craving an evening coffee? Well, it might throw your sleep schedule off by 40 minutes. A study published in Science Translational Magazine found that consuming caffeine equivalent to a double espresso 3 hours before bedtime delayed participants' melatonin rhythm, the key sleep hormone, by 40 minutes. This means that even if you fall asleep at your usual time, your body might still be running in evening mode, making it harder to wake up feeling refreshed. If your biggest fear was sleepwalking down the street in your favorite pajamas, say hello to sleep texting and sleep emailing. According to scientists, our ingrained phone habits are crossing over, leading to embarrassing and potentially dangerous messages being sent in our sleep. These parasomnias are fueled by stress and exhaustion, but luckily they're easily prevented. Power down, banish your phone for a good night's sleep, and leave the texting for when you're awake. Your dreams benefit your physical and mental health. For starters, they help solidify what we've learned, boosting memory and making recall easier. In fact, research shows that dreaming about a task can significantly enhance performance. They're also great for emotional healing, processing, and lessening the sting of tough feelings. On top of that, if you're dreaming less, it might signal sleep problems or health issues. Even nightmares play a role, prepping us emotionally for potential challenges. So they're essential for your mental and physical well-being in just about every way. When you quit smoking, it isn't just a lifestyle change. It can also lead to some seriously vivid dreams. Many long-term smokers who kick the habit report a spike in dream intensity. Research published in the Journal of Abnormal Psychology reveals that a third of smokers abstinent for 1 to 4 weeks dreamt about smoking, often feeling panic and guilt. These dreams are linked to nicotine withdrawal and tend to be more vivid compared to their usual dream experiences. Interestingly, dreams about smoking are rare while still smoking and become a prominent feature of quitting, almost as frequent as other major withdrawal symptoms. So if your dreams are taking a dramatic turn after quitting, it's just your brain's way of processing the change. A little bit of occasional light snoring is normal and okay. However, loud and/or chronic snoring can be a sign of obstructive sleep apnea. This breathing disorder can disrupt sleep cycles and interfere with proper oxygen flow. This is not to mention the disruption that it can cause anyone sleeping next to the snorer. Whether you're a morning person or a night owl, sleep cycles are wired to your body's internal clock, circadian rhythm, which adjusts to your environment. When you try to bunk your circadian rhythm, you can experience adverse mental and cardiovascular health. Some people really only need 5 hours of sleep, maybe less. Yeah, if only. This is probably one of the most common myths, as so many of us would like to believe it. The truth is, unless you are the 1 in 4 million people with a specific genetic mutation, this is not in any way accurate. While too little sleep is harmful, too much sleep can also wreak havoc on your brain and body. Unless you're recovering from an illness or are dealing with other such circumstances, too much sleep can signal underlying health issues. Okay, so we've established that too much or too little sleep is no good. But what if we just train our bodies to need less? It sounds legit, right? Well, sorry to burst your bubble, but adjusting to getting less sleep each night might seem like a matter of training, and you might accept and anticipate surviving on less sleep, but your body will eventually tell you the truth. Consistently working with fewer hours of sleep can lead to severe health problems. The daytime slumps may stabilize, but you'll soon experience changes in metabolism, mood, focus, creativity, decision-making, heart health, mental health, and changes in the immune system and hormone production. While the amount of sleep you get is vitally important, sleep quality is just as important. You might be asking yourself, what qualifies as quality sleep? Well, the answer lies in continuity. You experience many cycles during sleep, and if those cycles are repeatedly interrupted, there's a chance your body isn't getting the restoration it needs to properly function. Ever wonder how your dreams stack up against those of the opposite sex? Well, studies have revealed some fascinating differences. Women's dreams are more likely to feature both genders equally and tend to be longer with richer emotional content. In contrast, men's dreams often showcase predominantly male characters and are more likely to involve violence, cars, and roads. Interestingly, 8% of all dreams include some kind of sexual activity. In these types of dreams, men frequently find themselves in public or unfamiliar places with strangers, whereas women's dreams often include intimate settings like pools or lakes. Lucid dreaming is the ultimate cheat code. You realize you're dreaming, and suddenly, you're in control. Want to fly? Sure. You want superpowers? Pfft, why not? It's no wonder so many people want to master it. In fact, entire books are dedicated to teaching you how to lucid dream on demand. But according to Jane Gackenbach from Grant McEwen University, your secret weapon might be video games. She believes the skills you develop in a game, controlling environments, awareness of space, can spill over into your dreams, making gamers more likely to become lucid. Plus, gamers are less likely to have nightmares. When faced with something scary, they don't run. They fight back and turn it into a challenge. So, game on. Even in your sleep. I can't talk about dreams without bringing up Sigmund Freud, right? While many of his ideas have been debunked, Freud's work still holds a fascinating place in discussions about the human mind. He believed that dreams were a window into our unconscious, revealing our deepest desires and suppressed instincts, particularly those of an aggressive or sexual nature. According to Freud, our dreams have both manifest, what we remember, and latent, the hidden meanings, content. It's in this latent content where Freud claimed to uncover all of our deepest taboo urges, like, say, a weird attraction to our parents. Yeah, Freud didn't hold back. Until the 17th century, humans practiced segmented sleep, sleeping in 2 4-hour blocks with a 2 to 4 hour wakeful period in between. This period was spent on reading, prayer, or even social visits. So, what caused the shift to 8 hours per night? The arrival of electric lights changed our light exposure, disrupting our natural sleep-wake cycle. The Reformation also associated nighttime activities with potentially risky religious practices, making the two-sleep pattern less socially acceptable. Hawaii might look like it's all about relaxation, but the state is the most sleep-deprived in the country. Over 40% of its residents need more sleep. One major factor is the high cost of living. Many Hawaiians work multiple jobs or long hours to maintain financial stability. Furthermore, the time zone presents unique challenges. 3 hours behind the West Coast and 6 hours behind the East. This significantly disrupts natural sleep-wake cycles, especially for remote workers who work across multiple time zones. Dreaming of a good night's sleep? Well, then pack your PJs. South Dakota might be the answer. A recent study found over 7 out of 10 South Dakotans, 71.6%, regularly get at least 7 hours of sleep, making them the sleep champions of the US. Colorado follows closely behind at 71.5%. So, what's their secret? While the study didn't say for sure, experts suggest that factors like less light pollution from rural living, quieter environments in smaller communities, and even cultural sleep habits could play a role. Our internal clocks don't just influence our energy levels twice a day. They also have a peculiar relationship with the moon. Recent research has shown that we experience 30% less deep sleep when the moon is full. The brighter moonlight disrupts our sleep-wake cycle, which makes both falling and staying asleep a bit of a challenge. Luckily, the new moon balances it out. Its darkness provides a better setting for our sleep cycles to function optimally, ironing out the lack of sleep caused by the full moon. Damn you, moon. Have you ever woke up and thought, wow, that was a wild dream, only to lose it before you can even grab your phone? You're not alone. Within just 5 minutes of waking, half of our dreams disappear. And by 10 minutes, 90% of them are gone. Even famous poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge wasn't immune. After a vivid-like opium-fueled dream, he began writing Kubla Khan, but was interrupted by a person from Porlock. When he returned to his writing, the rest of the dream had disappeared, leaving the poem unfinished. Fun fact, other literary classics like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and Robert Louis Stevenson's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde were also dream-inspired. So our dreams may fade fast, but they've fueled some of the world's most iconic stories. Why do some of us wake up with wild dream stories while the others can't recall a thing? For most, dream recall is a regular, if fleeting, experience, about 1 to 2 dreams per week. But for a small group, around 1 in 250 people, dreams are like blank tapes with no recollection at all. It's not that these people don't dream, rather, they just don't remember them. According to neuroscientist Raphael Villat, dream recall is one of the last frontiers in our understanding of the mind. While many factors, from personality traits to how we wake up, impact whether we remember dreams, there's still a lot to uncover. One fun fact, women tend to remember their dreams more often than men, possibly due to social conditioning rather than biological differences. Fascinating, right? It turns out that being lonely might not just affect your waking hours, but your sleep as well. In 2001, neurologist Patrick McNamara found that people with insecure attachment styles, those less comfortable with intimacy and more likely to avoid relationships, reported having more vivid dreams than those with secure attachment styles. Not only that, but their dreams are often more morbid and intense. McNamara's study of 300 university students showed that loneliness seems to trigger more activity during REM sleep, where dreams occur. It's thought that the brain's anterior temporal cortex, which plays a role in both attachment and REM sleep, might be trying to compensate for a lack of social connection. So, if you're dreaming a lot more than usual, your brain could be making up for emotional gaps. Being able to sleep anytime, anywhere is a sign of a healthy sleep system. In reality, it's a sign of chronic sleep deprivation, or another underlying sleep issue. 18. Older adults get more sleep. Well, the opposite is actually true. While it's unclear if older adults need fewer hours of sleep, studies show they do in fact get less. The reason for this is unclear, but it could be related to a lot of other medical conditions that adults are more likely to experience as they get older. Researchers recommend getting out of bed and staying up until you're tired, but keep the phone away. Blue light is a big no-no, and it'll make it much harder for you to catch those Z's. Still can't sleep? Lying in bed with your eyes closed is almost as good as sleeping. The reason this is a myth has to do with brain activity. Endocrine, metabolic, and cardiovascular systems and cognition behave differently when you're asleep versus when you're awake. A few centers in the brain behave more in an on or off status, and simply closing your eyes won't trigger the off switch. Core body temperature is also much lower during sleep. Unless there are dangerous movements like sleepwalking, a bit of movement is completely normal. The main problem with hitting that snooze button repeatedly is that it's disruptive. Falling back to sleep after hitting snooze starts a new sleep cycle, which is then interrupted and interrupted and interrupted, and this can easily lead to moodiness and a decrease in mental flexibility. Your brain is actually quite active during certain stages of sleep. Sometimes it's just as active as when you're awake. However, the type of brain activity is different, and it ties into why quality sleep is important to memory, emotional processing, and effective thinking. I'm not sure how many of you remember the days before color TV. In fact, you know what? Let me know in the comments below if you do, because I'd love to say hi. But science has found that before the introduction of color TV, only around 15% of people dreamt in color. Today, that number has jumped significantly, with about 75% of us dreaming in Technicolor. Yes, 25% of us still dream in grayscale. While scientists haven't found a definitive cause and effect between color TV and color dreams, the timing is certainly interesting. After all, daily exposure to vivid imagery could influence how our brains process and store visual information, even while we sleep. Do you dream in color or black and white? Let me know in the comments below. Are you one of that 25% that sleeps in black and white? Dreams in black and white. If you've ever gone without sleep, you know how rough a person feels the next day. But what happens when you push it beyond one night? The answer? It gets downright scary. Hallucinations, high blood pressure, and memory loss join the party, adding to the already present irritability and depression. Not getting enough sleep has even been linked to deaths, with cases like sports fan Zhang Xiaoshan, who tragically passed away after trying to stay awake for a football marathon. We all sleep. The question here is, why? Despite years and years of research, we still don't have a definitive answer. But there is no shortage when it comes to theories. Some say sleep is about rest and saving energy. Others suggest sleep helps our brains rearrange information, make hormones, or even clean up after a busy day. A newer theory proposes that sleep literally cleans up the brain, with increased fluid flow flushing out waste products while we sleep. Now, I'm no scientist, but I do think there might be something to the reset theory here. What do you think? Sleeping with your eyes open. I know it sounds unthinkable, but it's how 1 in every 5 people sleep, but it definitely isn't normal. It's known as nocturnal lagophthalmos, and essentially means eyelids don't completely close during sleep, leaving the sleeper's eyes partially exposed. Although a person might not even know they've got the condition, it could dry out and irritate the eyes. Luckily, treatments like eye drops and special eyelid weights can help. Yeah, eyelid weights. It's the opposite of Clockwork Orange. Americans are strange creatures. I would know. I am one. A survey by the bedding company Anna's Linens recently discovered that a surprising 8% of Americans choose to sleep in the nude. Now, before I continue, please feel free not to share your sleeping habits in this regard in the comments. While most of my brethren confirm that they prefer nice pajamas, the minority group stress that they prefer bare-skin contact with their sheets. Their reasons include everything from seeking comfort to coolness or simply personal preference. And strangely enough, there seems to be evidence that it might be the better option. Studies suggest the potential benefits of sleeping naked include improved temperature regulation and even better sleep quality. You don't have to let me know in the comments, I promise. Have you ever felt like you're falling in your sleep only to jerk awake with a racing heart? Those creepy sensations are actually common muscle twitches called hypnic jerks. Don't worry though, they're totally normal. It's just your brain misinterpreting your relaxing body as falling and giving you a mini wake-up call. They usually happen right when you're drifting off, stages 1 or 2 of sleep, and fade away later. Sleep scientists say the ideal temperatures for sleep are between 65 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. I know that might sound too cold for some of you, but remember, there's nothing like snuggling under the perfect blanket. Yeah, I brought it back. Yeah, it's still heavy. That's the point. Did you know that more than 70% of high schoolers get less sleep than recommended? While hanging out with friends, binging on Netflix, and basking in too much blue light certainly don't help, it's also true that the biological changes in puberty will shift the circadian rhythm back roughly 2 hours. Exercising at night makes it harder to sleep. This might be true for some people, especially if they're into very intense workouts. However, most survey and research data suggests that it doesn't impact sleep as much as you'd think. While more research is needed to thoroughly debunk this myth, it's worth noting that, as a whole, regular exercise positively impacts sleep. So, if right before you go to bed is the only time you can work out, the pros still outweigh the possible cons. At this point, you'll notice that you can't really substitute proper sleep. Naps are great in a pinch and can give a quick boost of energy, but it's not the same. Why? Because your body doesn't go through the same stages as it does when you sleep at night. In fact, regular napping can make it harder to go to sleep at night. There is a correlation between length of sleep and remembering dreams, more and longer REM cycles. However, regardless of sleep duration, if someone is woken up from REM sleep, they will likely remember what they were dreaming about. While more studies need to be designed and carried out, it seems like there is little support for this myth. Milk and turkey, along with nuts, fish, dark greens, and seeds, are rich in the amino acid tryptophan. Tryptophan is essential for our sleep and general overall well-being because it helps your brain produce melatonin and serotonin. Sleep deprivation is no joke. It can have severe consequences on the brain and cardiovascular function. However, there's good news. Current studies show that people return to baseline functionality after enough sleep recovery, as long as sleep deprivation isn't chronic. The bottom line, as long as sleep deprivation is not a normal part of your life, 1 or 2 nights won't have long-lasting effects. I'm sure many of us are guilty of this one, at least on one occasion. I sure am. It's easy to get sucked into a show and pass out in front of the tube. However, current data shows that those who routinely watch TV within 30 minutes of bedtime have shorter sleep duration. Watching TV can wake up the brain and make it more likely that you'll have difficulty sleeping correctly. The truth is, you can dream during any stage of the sleep cycle. The main difference is the content and types of dreams you have. The purple ice cream you're eating that turns into a skating rink with a hockey-playing polar bear is more of a REM-type dream. Less vivid and interesting dreams are more likely to happen during other parts of the sleep cycle. There are no studies that suggest the radio or AC tricks are effective. Caffeine will help more, if you have time for it to kick in. However, if you're exhausted to the point of needing your radio or AC on blast, the best thing to do is to stay off the road. Period. Pull over, take a nap, or just stop for the night. Okay, a drink or two before bed might chill you out enough to sleep, but alcohol is no bueno for staying asleep. Alcohol can throw off sleep cycles, and it's easier for sleep to be interrupted. There's also the fact that alcohol will make snoring and apnea worse. Your best bet for a great night of sleep? Ditch the nightcap. Remember how our circadian rhythm adjusts to our environment and light changes? Well, sleeping with any light on can affect that rhythm and cause you to wake up more throughout the night. It's also linked to eye strain and weight gain. Blackout curtains, anyone? While most of us like to sleep on our sides, over 60%, the Brits do it in the fetal position. While science hasn't nailed down the exact reason, some say it brings back that cozy, safe feeling in the womb. Which begs the question, are you okay, Britain? In China, Japan, and Germany, the same study found that the majority of people preferred side sleeping, followed by supine, on the back, and then the stomach. Aside from possibly ending a relationship, sleep apnea, and the snoring that comes with it, can also cause hearing problems. Sleep apnea causes you to stop and start breathing repeatedly while asleep. It leads to a drop of oxygen in the blood, which can eventually trigger damage in the tiny hair cells on the inner ear that help you hear. Ongoing damage to those cells will eventually result in hearing loss. So, should your better half tell you that you are snoring loudly, and you ever wake up gasping for air, get tested for sleep apnea. Treating it with a CPAP machine, think Darth Vader but for sleeping, will improve your sleep quality and protect your hearing. If you thought you could live with a snorer, since their snoring is probably nothing more than a gentle rumble, prepare to be surprised. The scientists have measured some snorers reaching ear-splitting levels. Like, how about a jet plane loud? In 2009, Britain's loudest snorer clocked in at a deafening 111.6 decibels. That's about as loud as a low-flying jet engine or a chainsaw. Yikes. Right before you fall asleep, your body's core temperature takes a dip, about 2 degrees Fahrenheit. In essence, the cooling helps your body slow down its processes and metabolism, ensuring you won't go hungry for the next few hours. This also causes your blood pressure and heart rate to decrease. As you wake up, your blood pressure and heart rate has to pick back up again to keep up with your body's demands for energy. And while it gets there fast, there is a small period where the imbalance results in grogginess and confusion, which usually gets sorted out with our first morning cup of coffee. Exploding head syndrome. Don't worry, it's not as bad as it sounds. If you ever jerk awake at night convinced that a bomb had gone off in your head, you might be experiencing exploding head syndrome, or EHS. While the name sounds terrifying, EHS is actually harmless. It's basically your brain playing tricks on you while you're falling asleep or waking up. You hear a loud bang or crash, but it's all in your head. Experts think it could be linked to stress or temporary glitches in the parts of your brain that control sleep and sound. If we get them, the last thing we worry about is where the name came from. But have you ever wondered why bad dreams are called nightmares? It comes from the Old English word mare, which referred to a demon that tormented people, giving them night terrors and disturbing dreams. By the Middle Ages, our focus shifted to the terrifying experience instead of the demon itself, and mare turned into nightmare. Advanced sleep phase syndrome makes you fall asleep and wake up too early. I know this is a way of life for some of you, but we're covering involuntary early sleeping and waking, and it can truly mess with people's lives. ASPD causes people to fall asleep and wake up hours earlier than usual. Just imagine catching the sunrise at 2 a.m. and you'll get the idea. While it's probably convenient if you want to catch the worm, it can leave its sufferers exhausted during work or social hours. Its cause is a mystery for now, but it might be linked to other medical conditions. Treatment involves resetting the internal clock with bright morning light therapy, sometimes assisted by sleep medication. Charles Dickens, the literary giant, wasn't just passionate about writing stories, he was also quite particular about how he slept. He religiously positioned himself smack dab in the middle of his bed, facing due north, which for me is actually that way, with arms outstretched like a starfish. He even used a compass to ensure this precise alignment. Talk about commitment. Dickens believed facing north somehow boosted his creative output, something science has not been able to validate. Yet. Regardless, it adds a charmingly eccentric layer to the life of the iconic writer. People with sleep-related eating disorders, or SRED, eat while they're asleep. If there's one thing that probably leaves you feeling like your body is betraying you, it's SRED. Besides the dirty bedding, sleep-fueled eating can result in undesired weight gain, injuries, and even nutritional deficiencies, none of which are particularly pleasant. The symptoms of SRED rarely occur alone and are usually accompanied by other sleep disorders such as restless leg syndrome, making it even more important to consult your doctor right away to avoid further complications. Sudden Unexplained Nocturnal Death Syndrome, or SUNS, first came to the world's attention in 1977 when it started killing Southeast Asian refugees in Canada and the US. Since then, it's earned a terrifying reputation in textbooks and the internet's dark corners. In Hawaii, it's called dream disease. In the Philippines, banggugut. And in Thailand, it's known as lai tai, or sleep and die. How SUNS kills is still unknown, but the presentation is always the same. Healthy young people die in their sleep, and the cause cannot be determined. Researchers suspect a variety of causes, including ventricular fibrillation, or VF, and ion channel malfunctions. But for now, it's all just theories. The activation synthesis model, proposed in 1977, offers a fascinating look at how our brain creates dreams. Instead of seeing dreams as things triggered by our daily experiences or memories, this theory suggests that they actually come from biological signals in the brain. Specifically, it's the action of areas like the amygdala, part of the limbic system, that sparks our dreamscape. When these regions light up during sleep, our brain does what it does best. It tries to make sense of the chaos. The result? Dreams. You might be surprised to learn that 12% of people who can see perfectly well only dream in black and white. And while the themes of dreams are pretty universal for all of us, think being chased, teeth falling out, or showing a blade somewhere important, what's fascinating is how colorblind people dream. If someone was born colorblind, their dream world matches the shade of black, white, and gray they've always known. But if they lose their ability to see color later in life, their past colorful memories can make their dreams come alive. Even those who can't tell reds from greens in real life often dream in Technicolor, seeing the world as the rest of us do in our sleep. It might sound like a lot, but on average, we spend around 6 years of our lives dreaming. That's right. Our wild nightly adventures, strange scenarios, and occasional nightmares actually add up to quite a big chunk of time. The worst or best part about all this is that we spend 7 years of our lives just trying to fall asleep. So, not really sure how I feel about that trade-off. Have you ever experienced a deja vu moment in your dreams? According to those in the know, it's surprisingly common. Scientists believe deja vu in dreams might happen because our brains are blending different memories together. So when you dream, fragments from various experiences can merge, making it feel like you're reliving a moment from the past. Another theory is that dreams act as simulations of real-life scenarios. So if your brain dreams up a situation similar to something you've experienced, it can trigger that deja vu sensation. During REM, or rapid eye movement, sleep, your body temporarily paralyzes itself. And no, I'm not describing a horror movie plot here, but rather a protective mechanism. The paralysis, known as REM or muscle atonia, prevents you from acting out your dreams, which can get pretty dangerous. But here's where it gets creepy. If you wake up during REM sleep while your body is still in this paralyzed state, you can experience sleep paralysis. In essence, your brain will be awake while your body is trapped in sleep mode. You might feel trapped, see hallucinations, or even feel a sense of danger. Interestingly, some believe that the historical accounts of alien abductions could be explained by extreme cases of sleep paralysis. All in all, while it can be unnerving, it's just your brain trying to keep your dreams from taking over reality. Have you ever tried to read a book in your dreams? If you did, you probably found the text to be a jumbled mess or simply impossible to decipher. That's because the brain regions responsible for language processing take a back seat while you sleep. However, if you're a poet, writer, or someone deeply immersed in language, you might be one of the rare dreamers who can actually read or write in their dreams. For the rest of us, dreams tend to be more about feelings and images than coherent text. Dreams can be eerily similar to the experiences of people with schizophrenia. In fact, the brain activity we display during dreams often resembles the chaotic thought patterns of those with the mental health condition. Essentially, people with schizophrenia have their dream switch stuck on the on position, leading to a constant flow of disorganized thoughts, both day and night. When we dream, our brains spin up strange and disconnected scenarios, which can feel like a touch of nightly madness. This is similar to the disorganized thinking that people with schizophrenia experience when they're awake. So if you wake up from a particularly weird dream, it's just a brief dip into the kind of mental chaos some people have to deal with all the time. Some people don't just dream, they act out their dreams thanks to a condition called REM sleep behavior disorder, or RBD. When someone has RBD, their body isn't paralyzed like it usually is during REM sleep, so they can physically move and even perform their dreams. This can be risky, especially if the dream involves intense or violent scenes. If you or someone you know is acting out dreams like this, it's a good idea to seek treatment, as proper care can help prevent injuries and keep those vivid dreams from spilling over into reality. Creativity and dreams go hand in hand. Researchers have discovered that while most of us have vivid dreams, those who rarely dream might find themselves lacking in creativity and problem-solving skills. Dreams are believed to help with brainstorming and imaginative thinking. So if you're not sure whether you dream, try keeping a notebook by your bed. As soon as you wake up, jot down any fragments or feelings from your dreams before they slip away. It might just level up your creativity. Dreams where you're being chased can be downright terrifying. The pursuer is usually anything from a menacing monster to an intimidating person or even a fearsome animal. Surprisingly, this is one of the most common nightmare themes we all experience. These dreams often point to something or someone in your waking life that's making you feel threatened. It could even be an emotion you're struggling with. To uncover the source of your fear, think about who or what the chaser could be in your real life. Some clarity on the source of your fear could go a long way in keeping the nightmares at bay. Our brains don't have the ability to create brand new faces while we're dreaming. So, everyone who pops up in your dreams is someone you've encountered at some point, whether you've met them in real life, passed them on the street, spotted them on TV, or glimpsed them on social media. Even if you don't consciously remember a face, your brain keeps that image for future reference. So the next time you dream about an unfamiliar face, it's likely because they've crossed your path, even if just fleetingly. Did you know that you can actually change your dreams with smells? In one fascinating study, researchers had participants sleep while they were exposed to different scents through a nasal tube, rotten eggs, roses, or just nothing at all. When they woke up and described their dreams, those exposed to the rotten egg smell found their dream experiences turned dark and unsettling, even if the dream itself had nothing to do with the smell. One participant even dreamed of a Chinese woman who suddenly seemed disgusted with her for no clear reason, demonstrating how a simple scent can dramatically shift the emotional tone of a dream. Babies spend so much time sleeping that we can't help but wonder about their dreams. And while it's impossible to get a straight answer from a baby, scientists have some interesting insights into their dream life. Babies do have REM sleep, the stage of sleep where most of us dream, so it's likely they dream too. Since babies' brains are busy processing memories during this time, scientists believe they're probably dreaming about familiar faces, sounds, and sensations from their day-to-day lives, or even echoes from their time in the womb. As for nightmares, babies aren't having those just yet. Instead, their REM sleep might include some grimaces or small cries, but these are usually just signs of hunger or needing a diaper change, not bad dreams. It's not until around the age of 2 that children start experiencing nightmares, with peak nightmares matching up with the peak of their imagination around ages 3 to 6. Research from Cambridge University, building on studies from MIT, shows that animals do in fact dream. They've even found that animals can have pretty complex dreams, replaying memories or events from their waking hours. Now, while we can't say for sure if animals dream exactly like we do, we know they experience REM sleep, the same stage where humans have their vivid dreams. Most mammals, including dogs and cats, get into REM sleep. However, it's not a universal trait. For example, egg-laying mammals like platypuses don't. Birds also have REM sleep, but reptiles and other cold-blooded critters do not. Interestingly, the echidna only dreams if it's in a comfy 25 degrees Celsius environment. Go figure. What if I told you that one of the most iconic sci-fi movies was inspired by a fever dream? The Terminator was conceived by James Cameron when he was in Rome working on Piranha 2 while suffering from a 39 degrees Celsius or 102 degree Fahrenheit fever. In his dream, he saw a futuristic world where a chrome robot torso armed with kitchen knives dragged itself away from an explosion. That eerie image of a relentless, unstoppable robotic assassin stuck with him. Cameron wrote the idea down, and the story evolved into the legendary hit The Terminator. And the rest, as they say, is history. Now you know lots of new facts about your sleep and body. Ready for some feel-good vibes? In the village of Piplanthri, Rajasthan, something incredible happens every time a baby girl is born. They plant 111 trees. The tradition was started by Shyam Sundar Paliwal to honor his late daughter, and it's all about turning the birth of girls into a moment of pride. Along with the trees, every girl gets a 31,000 rupee trust fund, ensuring that she's seen as a blessing, not a burden. Parents also promise that she'll only get married after the age of 18 and receive a full education. It's a beautiful mix of environmental stewardship and female empowerment. Have you ever wondered how tough your smartphone really is? Well, Samsung takes durability testing to a whole new level with their bum-shaped robot. Yes, they literally have a robot, dressed in jeans no less, sit on their smartphones to make sure they can handle the pressure of your daily sitting routine. It's all part of ensuring their phones survive the everyday wear and tear. So the next time you slip your phone into your back pocket, rest easy knowing it's been through the ultimate butt test. Because at Samsung, they've got your backside covered. Literally. Side question, who the hell keeps their phone in your back pocket? You're just asking to sit on it. What monsters? Just put them in your front pocket. Who's keeping it in? God. Let me know in the comments below if you keep your phone in your back pocket, because I have questions. How many phones do you go through a year? In Holhevek, a village in the Netherlands, life seems like any other small town. But all its residents have dementia. This unique village is actually a nursing home built to give those with advanced dementia a sense of normalcy. With houses catering to 4 different lifestyles, nature-oriented, cosmopolitan, well-to-do, and traditional Dutch, residents choose where they feel most at home. Each house holds 6 or 7 residents with a dedicated carer. The design is all about improving quality of life, offering inspiration for more human-centered dementia care worldwide. It's a place where comfort and dignity come first. In a heartwarming moment caught on live TV in 2021, a Kentucky tornado survivor was reunited with her dog Nola in the middle of an interview. After her home was destroyed, the woman searched through the wreckage, hoping against hope to find her furry friend. Then, I remember this footage and I'm tearing up right now. Right on camera, Nola's head popped out from the rubble, leading to an emotional reunion that's sure to make you tear up. The pure joy as her owner freed her from the debris is a reminder of the power of hope and the unbreakable bond between us and our pets. Oh, Good on Lola. Seriously, I assume we're showing a clip here, but if you haven't, find this whole video. Yep. Octopuses don't just hide in crevices, they turn them into homes with style. These clever creatures create underwater gardens by collecting shells, shiny objects, and even rocks to decorate their dens. For extra security, some octopuses will even use a rock as a door, sealing themselves in. But these collections aren't just for protection. Scientists think their attraction to shiny objects is a sign of their need for mental stimulation. These brainy beings have been known to solve puzzles and even unscrew jars to get food. It's not an octopus, but it reminds me of the video where the two fish are like digging out and one's like, he keeps spitting it back in and they get mad at each other. That's a fun video too. Check that one out. If you've been wondering where the Christmas spirit lives, let me enlighten you. It's not in your heart, it's all in your brain. Danish scientists discovered that when people who love the holidays were shown festive images, think Christmas cookies and twinkling lights, 3 specific areas of their brains lit up. These regions stayed quiet for those without a cultural connection to the season, or those who just weren't feeling the jolly vibes. So, in short, the Christmas spirit lies in your left primary motor cortex, parietal lobule, and somatosensory cortex. Not quite the answer you imagined, but hey, science still proved that the magic is real. Smiling and laughter aren't just human idiosyncrasies. They've been around for a lot longer than we might think. Researchers from Kyoto University found that baby Japanese macaques, which are quite distant from humans on the evolutionary tree, smile in their sleep. This shows that the roots of smiling and laughter stretch back well before our ancestors branched off from other primates. So, we humans, and our very oldest ancestors, have probably been smiling and laughing for our entire existence. It's a timeless, universal trait that has been with us throughout the ages. Do you think that crowds are just a chaotic mess? Actually, they're pretty impressive. Research has revealed that pedestrians move with a surprising level of harmony. When you're in a busy crowd, people naturally flow like a river, and friends often line up in a reverse V to stay connected. We also all tend to swerve in the same direction to avoid bumping into each other. Whether we veer left or right depends on local driving habits. For instance, people in Japan usually veer left, while Europeans tend to go to the right. As more people approach and pass, we adapt to the flow, showing that even in crowded chaos, there's an unspoken method to the madness. Researchers from the University of Utah have tested the grandmother hypothesis using computer simulations and discovered that humans owe their longer lifespans to grandma's helping hands. Unlike other primates who fend for themselves after weaning, human grandmothers stepped in to help feed their grandchildren. This allowed mothers to have more kids, which sped up human evolution. In just 60,000 years, we went from females dying soon after childbearing to living decades past menopause. Even with factors like brain size and hunting controlled, grandmas still played a huge role in shaping our longevity, bigger brains, and our propensity to work together. Thanks, grandmas. I guess you could say they're great grandmas. Our throwing skills didn't just change the game, they changed everything. Nearly 2 million years ago, early humans gained the unique ability to throw rocks and spears with precision and power, a skill that even chimpanzees can't come close to. For context, chimps throw only about a third as fast as a 12-year-old little leaguer. Researchers at George Washington and Harvard found that our shoulder works like a slingshot, storing and releasing energy with each throw. This evolution in our torso and arms wasn't just for show, it let our ancestors hunt big game, leading to bigger brains, stronger bodies, and the ability to explore new parts of the world. In 2019, Ethiopia smashed the world record by planting over 350 million trees in a single day. Originally, the plan under the Green Legacy Initiative, launched by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, was to plant 200 million trees at 1,000 sites across the country. But enthusiasm soared, and in just 6 hours, 150 million trees were already in the ground. By the end of the day, over 353 million seedlings had been planted, far surpassing the previous record of 50 million set by India in 2016. The massive effort forms parts of Ethiopia's goal to restore its forests, which have drastically declined from 35% coverage to just 4% over the last century. But before you scrunch your nose, hear this. These bricks are odorless, safe, and just as tough as limestone. Plus, they're made at room temperature, which means no energy-guzzling kilns spewing out carbon dioxide. The process mimics how coral forms, using bacteria to break down the urea in urine, creating calcium carbonate to bond with sand. Unlike past attempts using synthetic urea, this team used the real deal. And though the smell might be intense during the process, after 48 hours the bricks lose their odor and are bacteria-free. Oh, and the leftover ammonia? Perfect for making fertilizer. Picture this. Hundreds of people forming a human chain, hand to hand, passing books down the street. Sounds like something out of a feel-good movie, right? Well, that's exactly what happened in Southampton, England in 2018. October Books, a beloved indie bookstore, needed to relocate after a rent increase, but moving thousands of books was a bit of a tall order. Luckily, the community stepped up to the plate. On moving day, families, shopkeepers, and random passers-by all got together and joined forces, forming a 150-meter human chain to help move all 20,000 books to the new location. Now that's awesome. Can you imagine what it would feel like to be told that you'll never be able to walk again, only to defy the odds with the help of cutting-edge science? That's exactly what happened to 3 men in Switzerland thanks to groundbreaking spinal implants. Developed by a team at EPFL, these electrical devices amplify the brain's signals to the legs, helping the patients walk again. Incredibly, the implants even started regrowing damaged nerves. Take David Imsey, for example. After 7 years in a wheelchair, he can now walk nearly a kilometer when his implant is switched on. It's not perfect yet, but the tech is giving new hope to spinal injury patients all around the world. Scars may not always seem like a beauty flex, but science says otherwise, especially when it comes to men. While the cosmetics industry pushes us to hide our scars, research shows that women actually find facial scars more attractive in men when it comes to short-term relationships. Why? They still carry that primal signal of bravery and survival, like a badge from the battlefield, even if it is just from a clumsy fall. Scars can also suggest higher testosterone levels. That said, when it comes to long-term love, women still favor the scar-free guys who come across as more caring and empathetic. I don't really have any. I got one scar here. Wait, let me find it. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to see that. I was playing with a bird friend, and he actually playfully bit me too hard. Shout out to Balefire. What's up, buddy? First scars, now sweat? What's next? As it turns out, sweat can make you more attractive too. While most of us don't think of sweat as an aphrodisiac, hello body odor, science has other ideas. A study published in the Journal of Neuroscience found that male sweat contains a pheromone called androstenedione. This magical little chemical raises cortisol levels in women, which boosts arousal and even activates certain brain regions. Now, I'm not suggesting you skip the shower and show up to your date in your gym gear, but hey, next time you're at the gym, that smiling lady might be finding you more attractive than you think. Are you nervous about AI taking over your job or turning into a sci-fi villain like we saw in The Matrix or, The Terminator? You shouldn't be. AI pioneer Geoffrey Hinton has previously expressed concern about how fast AI is advancing. In addition to outsmarting us, he worries it'll blur the line between fact and fiction and become too manipulative. But there's a silver lining. Hinton's worries are about next-level AI, not the everyday tools that handle tasks like scheduling or data entry. Experts believe that while AI might shift some job roles, it'll also create new, higher-paying opportunities. So rather than an AI takeover, think of it as a smart shift in the job market. Australia might just become the first country to kick cervical cancer to the curb. A recent report in the Lancet Public Health Journal highlights Australia's impressive progress in battling this disease. By rolling out a national screening program in 1991 and an HPV vaccination scheme in 2007, they've brought the cervical cancer rate down to 7 per 100,000 people. That is half the global average. If trends continue, experts predict it could drop below 5 cases per 100,000 by 2025 and possibly just 4 by 2035. While there's no official World Health Organization threshold yet for declaring the disease eliminated, Australia is on track to be the world's first to hit this milestone. Fuzi Sabat, a then 17-year-old from Istanbul, performed a heroic rescue that could have been straight out of a movie. As 2-year-old Doha Mohammed tumbled out of her second-floor apartment window, Zabat, who happened to be in the right place at the right time, leaped into action. He positioned himself perfectly and caught the toddler mid-air, and it was all caught on security camera. The dramatic footage shows Abbott glancing up, realizing the danger, and preparing to catch the child. Thankfully, he succeeded, and Doha was returned to her family unharmed. Most of us don't give a lot of thought to trees' internal rhythms, but maybe it's time we do. Recently, the Finnish Geospatial Research Institute used infrared light to monitor 2 silver birch trees, and scientists discovered that trees exhibit a nightly drooping pattern, similar to how we rest after a long day. Even more intriguing was that these trees began to perk up and prepare for sunrise well before the actual break of dawn. This suggests that trees have their own internal rhythm, not just responding mechanically to sunlight, but actually engaging in something akin to a natural circadian rhythm. Did you know March 20th is the International Day of Happiness? Established in 2012, this UN-backed day is all about spreading cheer and making the world a better place. The UN even has a nifty guide with 10 steps to help you celebrate, like sharing your good vibes, working to eliminate hunger, and reducing inequality. And let's not forget the World Happiness Report, which ranks countries by their joy levels. As of March 2024, Finland's been holding the top spot for 7 years straight, with Denmark, Norway, Iceland, and the Netherlands trailing close behind. According to John Helliwell, one of the report's co-editors, the secret to Finnish happiness is a mix of high taxes for social benefits, trust in their government, freedom, and a generous spirit. Not too long ago, researchers at Northwestern University and Washington University School of Medicine unveiled a game changer in the world of medical technology: the first bioelectrical medicine. The tiny marvel, about the size of a dime and as thin as a sheet of paper, is implantable, biodegradable, and has a knack for boosting nerve repair. Here's how it works. Implanted in rats, it delivers regular electrical impulses to peripheral nerves, speeding up their recovery after surgery. After just 2 weeks, the device dissolves harmlessly into the body. Unlike traditional implants, this gadget minimizes side effects and risks by targeting the damaged area directly. It might even one day replace or complement traditional medicines for various ailments. We're not the only ones to teach our kids to share. Chimpanzees have a soft spot for sharing too, at least when it comes to food. Researchers from the Max Planck Institute observed these clever primates in Tai National Park, Ivory Coast, and found that they're surprisingly generous. Unlike many other animals who only share food with family or for a specific benefit, chimps were seen sharing, even with non-relatives, without any immediate payoff. Historically, sharing was a major milestone in human evolution, leading to the development of early societies. It's rare in the animal kingdom outside of mating or family rituals, but chimps seem to be an exception. Who knew that breaking a world record could also be a splash for a great cause? On June 9, 2018, over 2,500 women braved the freezing waters of Macklemore Beach in Wicklow, Ireland to set a new Guinness World Record for the largest skinny dipping event ever. But it wasn't just about flaunting their streaking skills, it was all for a good cause. Organized by Deirdre Featherstone, the event aimed to support Even's Pink Tie, a charity dedicated to pediatric cancer research. And what started as a small swim with 60 friends and family in the first year, following Featherstone's own battle with cancer, has grown into a massive annual event. Are you in need of some sage advice, even if it's served with a side of humor? Head over to the Salt Lake City Farmers Market, where a group of retirees known as the Old Coots has become the unlikely stars of a growing movement. This group of elderly friends decide to set up an advice booth at the market to distract themselves from their usual Saturday morning deli chats, with a banner that proudly proclaims, "Old Coots giving advice." It's probably bad advice, but it's free. They've turned into a hit attraction, helping 30 to 40 people each week with their unique brand of wisdom. The crew, mostly in their late 60s or early 70s, has tackled everything from dating dilemmas to ghost-busting inquiries. And their movement is growing. According to our research, Old Coots can now be found in Ventnor, New Jersey, and New Braunfels Farmer Market, and other farmers markets across the country. So, if you're looking for some offbeat advice and a good chuckle, check out the Old Coots at markets across the US. These wise, wacky retirees are proving that the best advice can come from the most unexpected places. So, that's a wrap. And if today's feel-good facts gave you a smile, well then you'll love the one we did a while back on 25 facts that will make you feel instantly smarter. I dove into some real brain boosters, like the fact that men have longer tongues, how the FBI spent 2 years investigating, that's 2 years investigating a song, and even talked about the most relaxing song ever as proven by science. Intrigued? I'll just click the link right here, and I'll see you over there. And in the comments, let me know the most happy fact you know. Let's uplift people today. Happy facts all around. All around? All abound? Nailed it.